Hello and welcome to another episode of C-Suite of CEO Chat. Yes, I am your host, Shawanna Kennedy, and I'm excited because we talk about the good, the bad, and sometimes ugly of what it look and feel like to be a CEO. Now, I'm hoping you caught our part one because Miss Jamila Moore, Esquire, is still in the building. This is a formidable educator who now has gone into law, and she is all things IP and business strategy, and is helping you to not ride dirty and to take care of your assets before your assets be dealing with something else. I don't want to delay because this young lady has been pouring it out, giving it to us. And let me just get and help me welcome Miss Jamila Moore back into the building. Won't you help me? Won't you help me? Hey, Jamila. Y'all know if y'all was in here and watched the first part of this, you already know she was pouring it in. And so just in case somebody don't know and they kind of missed what happened in our part one, why don't you get them a quick rundown because we want to tease them so they can check out that part one. Recap some of what we went over already.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you all have to be considering if you are a CEO or if you produce ideas and are creative, number one is, am I riding dirty? Number two is, am I doing shady business? Number three, if I am, is it worth it to my future to continue down this path? What are the consequences if I do not change course and start being ready for anything in my business, with my products, with my services, and with my ideas?
I love it. I love it. So you really got to check it out because I want to get right into it. We was talking about trademark, but one of the things that you said, and I said, we gotta. That's why I was like, oh no, I need a few more minutes. Y'all. I need a few more minutes. The independent contract. Let's talk about contracts in this portion. With those contracts, because I know a number of us, whether you're using an Upwork, a Fiverr, Pineapple, there's a number of wonderful third party. You may even know some guys, y'all watching, y'all looking, y'all listening. You may even know some that you're actually using and you don't understand what that could really mean for your business. Talk about the contracts, the independent contractors for a moment.
Yeah. So one of the things that we all have to recognize is that businesses actually operate contractually all the time. And we maybe as new business owners may not fully understand that. And so every time you go onto a reputable business's website, you have entered into some sort of contract. And it's typically when you scroll down to the bottom, you will see something called the terms of use and the terms of service. So they're telling you if you are going to use, visit, buy anything off of their website, hey, this is the contract that you must adhere to. And by your continued use, you are agreeing to that. Second thing is, even sometimes when we are downloading software, if Apple or Android has that update, they tell you, click here to say you accept. Well, guess what? You have just entered into another contract. When you walk into a grocery store and they say, shop at your own risk, you have just entered into a contract. And so sometimes newer business owners are kind of scared to even have, those good solid contracts in their business. But what they're saying is, I want to risk it all because I want to people please rather than protect what it is that I'm building, right? Because the only reason why you wouldn't give somebody a rock solid contract is because you don't want them to run away, or it is you don't want to scare them away with the wording. Well, that contracts are a part of my brand. That's how you have to think about it. Like, this is why you have to have a standard operating legal procedure in your business. So we're not doing invoice business anymore. That's what risky CEOs do. That's what CEOs that are riding dirty do, right? They just invoice people and things of that nature. No, I'm going to make sure you're going to do exactly what you said you're going to do. If you ever terminate this contract, I'm going to have the guidelines for how you terminate it. If there is ever in a dispute, I'm going to have the guidelines for how this dispute will be governed. And I'm going to make sure that this contract can actually even be signed electronically, because without that clause in there, it is arguable that I didn't enter into a contract with you because I didn't execute it in the way in which it was supposed to be executed, right? So you really have to think about contracts in that way. But you specifically asked about the independent contractor agreement, right? So let's get into that. With the independent contractor agreement, that is for when you bring people into your business to perform some type of service for you. And this is very important because a lot of times, if folks are not careful, they are actually in a place where they don't actually own the things that people could be making and creating for them. So I'm going to give it to you from two different sides. So I'm going to give it to you from the business owner side. From the business owner side, of course, you want to make sure you have your standard clauses in there and that you have protected your confidentiality, your proprietary information, and your intellectual property. But where I see a lot of business owners miss it is that copyright assignment and or the intellectual property rights assignment. When you don't have that there, whatever it is that they produce for you, legally it is theirs. But now let's flip it to the other side. I am the independent contractor. I am creating something for X, Y, and Z. So I want to have my pricing based upon what level of intellectual property rights I am able to give over. So my highest tier of pricing is going to be because I am assigning all of my rights over to you. My mid-level is I'm assigning some of my rights to you. The lower level is you just get this one or two things. But here's the thing. You have people who are out here like, I know my rights, because I've seen it just with that much neck. I know my rights and you can't. No. It was this. You can't do this. And best believe, I'm going to start suing some of y'all. Well, sir, one of my friends, she was like, can he do this? I said, well, can you pull up the terms and conditions? Did you sign a contract? Well, what rights does he have? Can he prove it? And so on both sides, whether you're providing the service or getting the service, you need a contract in place.
Yeah. Don't ride dirty. Don't ride dirty. You know, it's a new season. I love it because you talked about patchwork protection. Matter of fact, some of your little isms. Of course, I don't know why they make me think about R&B and hip hop and all of those things, right? It made me even think about fairy tales because you said riding dirty and the three things. You know, I thought about the three little pigs because you don't want to be wee to your attorney if you're not protected, right? So I love it. What is some of the misconceptions that you've heard or people really they believe that they're actually okay? What's some of those misconceptions as it pertains to the protection that people believe that they really have, but they really don't?
Yeah. I think so say for instance, you go and you do your trademark with some type of provider, LegalZoom, Legal Shield, InkFile, Taylor Brands, and they are like, okay, yeah, here's the name of your business, file for the trademark. Well, if they don't ask you the big vision questions, you won't know whether or not you are comprehensively protected. And so just because you are now doing, education and entertainment services, that does not mean that you own the trademark for all of the different classes that could be applicable to your business. So if you're ever going to do t-shirts, sweatshirts, and things of that nature, that is a different class. If you're ever going to have downloadable apps and streaming and stuff like that, that is a different class. If you're ever going to have merchandise, whether it's cups and things of that nature, that is a different class. If you're ever going to have stationery or a series of books and things of that nature, that is a different class. And so sometimes you have people clashing with whether or not they actually own things because of their ignorance around comprehensive ownership. I always like to tell the story of like confidence is owned by two different people. And you would think like, well, if it's confidence, like, hey, that's that one person. Well, the person who first owned confidence owned it for books only. Then someone came along later and owned it for apparel and then for educational and entertainment services. So what would have happened if that first person would have thought visionary, right? Because we have to live in the now, but protect for the later. If they would have thought visionary, they would have protected it, because then they had the right to stop, they had the right to sell, or they had the right to sue. And so I think that's a piece. And then once you actually have the trademark, you need to have a standard cease and desist letter, because someone is going to have another God idea or the same idea, and they're going to think that it is theirs unless you show them and prove to them, hey, I just want to let you know, this is here. This is what I had. This is my ownership. You can look it up on your own. This is your warning, not to use this again. If not, I reserve my right for further legal remedies. That's one thing. And then two, you have to be continuously monitoring your mark. Another place where people get messed up is when you own a trademark, they don't recognize that at the 5-year mark, you have to go in and then make sure that you're continuing to prove your ownership and use. And so a lot of trademarks die in that phase because no one knew that they had to do that additional step. And then after that is every 10 years, which is very different from a copyright, because once you file for the copyright, it is yours for your lifetime plus 70 years. Whereas with the trademark, there is some periodic work that you have to do. And then we're going to take it another step further. The contract really solidifies what people can and cannot do with your intellectual property. And then again, for those who are just catching us, just coming in, and you want to go back and visit part 1, intellectual property, that's your mental real estate.
Yeah.
That's your mental real estate. Short form, long form. Short form, think trademark. Long form, think copyright. Short form, think the name and logo of any income producing product, service, or brand marker. Any income producing. So if you're like, oh, I'm about to do X, Y, and Z, I think this is about to make me at least 60,000. Well, you better at least trademark it.
No, not that at least, because I've seen it. Yes, we love our business owners. We love our entrepreneurs, but we have got to be better protected. We have got to be better protected because businesses have to happen differently. I know even during the pandemic, you had an idea, it was created, and people were making money hand over fist. People were doing things left, right. They were really doing it. They were hitting it fast. And some, God bless, some people are actually still in business, but these are the things that you have to go back now and protect your behind, protect your business, protect that front, that back, the sides, the windows, the doors, the basement, because people can get in. I know, and you could help me if I'm wrong. I believe in when we think about, because some people believe just because they may have a domain name that they're good, right? Oh, okay. See, she's shaking her head, right? And then that's a whole nother something too.
For that, they got to go back to part 1 because we taught we.
Yeah, I just want them to know that it's. You be like, well, no, I hear people say it all the time. They say, I have a bank account, I have the .com, I have the website, and I'm good. I'm good. And it does not stop there. It does not stop there. If you ain't felt it, I hope you had pen, you had paper, because class, she's talking about the different classes as it relates to your the trademark and the IP and all of that. But class has been in session. You need to be following Miss Jamila Moore on all social media platforms. You already know one of our favorite places is even over there on LinkedIn. So get over there and follow Miss Jamila Moore right now. Put in the chat, I'm following you, girl. Trademark, I need your help. Don't forget to tell them that Shawanna Kennedy sent you. Yes, we love this. We love this. Jamila, you are killing it up in here because it just makes you even want to go back and check. Like you say, who's checking the checker? To even check that, because it makes me now, I'm thinking about my assets. And when you even said like the 5-year market, things like that, is like, right, because you do have to pay for those services to make sure things that you really have put in place, that they are still even being monitored. And because things are coming at us hard, they're coming at us fast, and opportunities, good opportunities, we still have to make sure that we're counting up that cost. And I love you when you broke down the tiers of these are the things that you need to consider. I'm all over. I'm all over all of that. And I love it because oftentimes in the business and what I get to do is helping the people be seen, be heard, known and paid for their business and their brand and the things that they do, the things that they say, right? When you say be seen, that's are you visually, be heard. What are you saying that you need to be having as your intellectually property protected? So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We talked about the misconceptions. We talked about that. If you had to help somebody right now with this part, because people hire independent contractors, what are 3 things that they need to consider before they hire another independent contractor?
I'm about to put on my business strategy hat here because I just hate hearing how people have been taken advantage of. Like, that's where my heartstrings really come from. And so people who are great at talking and selling, they will then come in and sell you something that you're not even ready for. So I was recently talking to one of my clients and she was like, yeah, well, they said I needed the CRM, but I'm like, you don't even have an LLC and a business up. So why are you paying, X, Y, and Z for this CRM? So one, you need to understand the business process enough to know whether you are in the development stage, the deployment stage, and then just the maintenance stage and how to navigate that. And that's why I have like a comprehensive business checklist that they can get from my website. Because of this. So that's one thing. And then 2, once they sell you this big vision, where is the proof in the pudding that they've done this before? And so one of the reasons why, the people will be like, oh, I can come in, back at some point, like putting captions on the video was a big thing, right? And so that I can come put these captions on here. And I was like, well, when you're putting captions on everyone else's videos, can you tell me, like, are they getting more leads? Are they getting more opportunities? So you have to know what questions to ask for and to research the testimonials and reviews. And I think the third thing you have to then think through is the level of specificity of the work. If they are just giving you an overview and an overview is in your contract, you have the chance to be screwed. So I saw a contract for $45,000 and what it said it was going to do, there were 4 bullet points. And I was like, well, you actually need, especially if you're doing the hiring or the bringing on of an independent contractor, you want to have key performance indicators in there. Something that you can measure around if they are doing what they said they're supposed to do. And from a contractual standpoint, you want to then have a way to either terminate or dispute anything that they're not doing so that you can claim a breach of contract. Right. And so sometimes we're just so excited and we need to come out of the emotions and really live in the details. The dollar is in the details.
I love it. I feel some music playing there. Look, in my mind, y'all, I feel some music playing. In my mind. This is so juicy. This is so good. And it's so needed. We get into business because we believe that's a call. The most of the people that I know that are business owners and entrepreneurs is because they believe that they have a call. God has given them a vision. They have a mission. And part of that is having stuff in order, having stuff organized. And part of that is that we have to be better about implementing things at the beginning that's needed instead of some of the bells and whistles. Because we are more than even though we need to trademark our logos, we are more than our brand colors. We're more than the logo. And that's protecting the things that really mean the things. If some people are doing it because they want to have things for their legacy, I said, I believe in a living legacy because I want things while I'm living. I want my kids just to benefit once I'm gone. I want living legacy. and protecting those things at the front end. It's having conversations with the right people, such as Miss Jamila Moore, Esquire, so that you can cover yourself, so that you will no longer be writing dirty, so that you can get the help you need. Make sure you are watching part 1. Go back and watch that part 1, because if you think this is something, she really laid it out. And you heard her, what she said, that even on her website, she have checklists. She actually have courses. She have some self-paced work that you can do right from her website if you're not ready to go full all in. But I advise you, when you're working on your budget and you're getting things together, that this needs to be part of that cost that you count up, because it's going to cost you one way or the other. Is it going to cost you on the front end or on the back end? So it behooves you to really consider these things. And when you're writing up your plan, you need to make sure that this is a part of your plan. And if it's not, it's okay, because now is the time for such a season as this. For now is the time that it's not by chance that you're watching, you're looking, you're listening, you even catching this on replay, that you're saying, man, this is what I needed to know. And these are the people that I needed to hear it from, because we all have a call. We all have, God has a purpose and a plan for us all. And sometimes some people may say, I've heard this stuff before, but maybe this was the voice that you needed to hear for you to get off your do something and do something to protect the assets of your business. So I'm excited before we get out of here, because like I said, we have accomplished a lot. If you could help a business owner, and there's any question that I may not have asked you, because at this point, you guys already know that you need to be scheduling your session with her, right? We know that. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to just say one final thing to them as we prepare to get out of here. Go for it, Jamila.
Thank you. So one is, you want to make sure that you are in a place where you really understand what it takes to protect your business in a comprehensive place. And so one of the things that many people may not be talking to you all about is compliance. And so in addition to the trademarks, in addition to the contracts, in addition to the copyrights, there are 8 to 10 laws at any given moment that every entrepreneur should be adhering to. And one of the things that is most missed is the website protection, right? And so whenever you are collecting personal information, which could be a name, which could be an email, which could be a phone number, you are now collecting someone's personal information, and you have entered into privacy law. And there are certain things that you must do to adhere to privacy law. And if you do not, the state or a country could come after you for what you are doing with their constituents and for personal information. The other thing is, you want to make sure that you are in compliance with trademark law, with marketing law, with advertising law. I know the list is going on, because ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You cannot say, I did not know. They will say, well, you should have known. And so if you do nothing else, at the very least, you must schedule a consultation, and you must ask, what is everything that I need to know for my business, so that one, I can put a plan in place, put a budget in place, and make sure that I am actually building something that could withstand the test of times, and not building a Lego. We play with Legos. We all know Legos. Building something that's actually Legos and that could get knocked down at the first moment the wind blows. Protect your stuff and make sure you're not doing shady business.
Woo. Yeah, all of the bells, all of the music, all of the claps, all of the cheers right there. I appreciate you so much for pausing for the cause to come on and talk to the CEOs, talk to the business owners, and even potentially someone that is considering doing business, because you may have what someone needs. So we encourage you to do those things, but get it in order beforehand, if possible, because you don't want to come back later and say, I wish all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I know people that did all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. And so hopefully that this is catching someone before something happens. So take the preventative measures and protect yourself, protect your assets, protect your business, protect your name. How about that? Protect your name, because it is, and You need you. You need you, and your business needs you, and it needs you at your best. So knowing that these things are being handled by people such as Miss Jamila Moore, I think you could rest a little bit easier. So I'm excited. I'm excited again. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I appreciate you so much. And remember, when y'all look her up and they be saying, "Well, how did you find me?" You better tell them that you saw him. You better tell them that you saw him right here on C-Suite of CEO Chat with Shawanna Kennedy. I'm so excited. Miss Jamila, don't you go nowhere. We finna get them out of here. So I just need you to help me tell them. Make sure you following us on all social media platforms. Subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because as you see, look at the people that we bring in here for who? For you. All of this has to do with you. All of this has to do with you. Yeah, that's right. And you. I'm Shawanna Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of C-Suite of CEO Chat. Wave at them, Jamila. Wave at them. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement, because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.